Hello, here's a tutorial on how to make this beautiful washcloth. Today I'm going to crochet in blue, but here is a finished purple version. It has a lovely shell stitch edge. And here's the back, just so that you can see how the stitches look, and it's handy because you can hang it up in the shower. So we're going to use a 4.5mm crochet hook. You'll also need a darning needle. They have larger eyes right here. Makes it a little bit easier. And of course stitch markers as well for this project. I'd recommend 2 if you're a total beginner, but you can also just use 1 if you would like to. If you have trouble with tension, you can also use these kind of like crochet rings here, and they hold the yarn for you. I like the one on the left best. For yarn for this project, I have used Hobbycraft's Everyday Blend. This is cotton and acrylic blended yarn, and I'm using blue and a kind of golden colour. You're also going to need some scissors too. Let's go! So here I am showing you how to make a slip knot. So you're going to leave a nice end to tuck in later, and you wrap that around your fingers. We're going to twist. Then we grab our long end, which is our working yarn, and we pull it through, pulling those 2 ends tight together, and we have created a slip knot. If you are an absolute beginner, I recommend pulling this straight out and making a couple more. This is going to be the start to almost every single project in crochet, so you're really going to want to be able to be nice and comfortable with this before you move any further along. We're going to insert our hook through that knot there, and we can pull it nice and tight there on our hook. Make sure you can kind of move it around, don't be too tight. We're then going to grab our working yarn, which is connected to the ball, and we're going to wrap it around our fingers like so. And this is a nice way to hold the yarn. So yarn over, and we're going to pull through that hook. We've now chained. We're going to do this again. So yarn over and pull through, and that creates a chain right there. Yet again, if you're an absolute beginner, I recommend to make a couple of these like this. Take it off your hook and pull it all off. This is just getting you nice and comfortable with how we're going to be crocheting and getting you to really get used to how to do this, as like I said, this is how a lot of crochet projects start. So here I am again showing you the slip knot and the chaining technique that we are using to start this. In total we are going to chain 26 chains all together, so make sure to keep your count. There are row counters as well that you can get as an app, and I think they're quite helpful. This project is really nice because we're going to learn 3 different crochet stitches that are used in many different projects. Now you have your 26 chains, which form the length of the project. So here I am showing that here against another one. And now we are going to begin. So we're not going to be crocheting into that one there. We're going to be crocheting in the second chain from your hook. We're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull it through, have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over on your hook like so, and pull through 2. That is a single crochet stitch. Well done, congratulations. We are now going to grab our stitch marker and pop it through those top 2 loops that we can see right there. That is the top of your stitch, and popping in that stitch marker so that we know exactly where our round has begun. So I'm going to show you again. For our next stitch, we move along to the next chain, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook right there, yarn over and pull through both loops, another single crochet. I'm going to show this another couple of times on the screen, but we're going to be performing a single crochet in each chain across. Since we skipped that first chain, there will be 25 total single crochets, and if you would like to, pop a stitch marker into your very last single crochet, and that will help you for your next row. Here I am popping in that final stitch for that row of single crochets right there. And if you are crocheting along, congratulations, you have made a full first row. The next one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to introduce a new stitch. So we're going to chain 1, and we are going to turn our work to work into the top 2 loops of the single crochets all the way along the row. And I'm going to show you right now. This is the top 2 loops of those stitches. This is also where that stitch marker comes in important, because we're not going to crochet into the chain. We're going to actually crochet into that last single crochet stitch that we made, and we are going to perform a single crochet. If you want, please pop a stitch marker into that one there so that we can find that stitch at the end, just to avoid single crocheting into that chain. Keep our edges nice and straight. So next we're going to learn a double crochet into the next stitch. So we're going to yarn over before inserting, then insert our hook into the top 2 loops of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. We will have 3 loops on our hook. We will then yarn over, pull through 2 loops only to have 2 loops left on our hook, yarn over and pull through those last 2, and that's our double crochet. We're then going to do a single crochet into the next stitch, which you should have mastered by now. So insert into the top 2 loops of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to perform a double crochet into the next stitch, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, 3 loops on the hook in total, yarn over and pull through 2 of those, have 2 loops left, yarn over and pull through 2. So that then creates our pattern for this row. So that is a single crochet and then a double crochet. This will be for a total of 25 stitches. And we are going to repeat this all the way along. So here I am performing my final stitch, which should be a single crochet. If you would like to, you can always take out the stitch marker here as well to make it a little bit easier. As you can see, it leaves a nice obvious gap. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. So that is our second row right there. As you can see, it's starting to form that pattern that we're looking for. Don't worry if your tension is a little bit looser, it always will be for your first one. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work again to start the next round, which is going to be a single crochet into each stitch across. So single crochet into that first stitch right there, and move your stitch marker if you wish to. Just helps us keep our count so that we don't have to always count our stitches, which you might want to if you are a beginner, just to get used to the whole process. We are then going to single crochet into the top 2 loops of this double crochet here, which, because there are that we yarned over, there is an extra loop, so we just need to make sure we're going into the top 2. And we're going to single crochet into that. We're single crocheting all the way along. So we're just going to repeat that all the way across this row, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Now this completes our little pattern that we're going to be repeating. So it's 2 different rows. So for our next row we chain 1, and when we're going to perform a single crochet and then a double crochet into each stitch across. Then we are going to do a chain 1 and a row of single crochets. We're going to repeat those 2 rows 11 times until we get to this size here. It's 22 rows in total. And I'm going to show you right now how to fasten off once you've finished. So if you chain 1 at the very end of your work and just pull it a little bit to get that loop, then we're going to cut it off and just pull it through all the way and give it a little tug to tighten it, and it creates us a nice little knot. So that is the main part of our dishcloth done. Don't worry yet again if your stitches are a little bit looser. It's your first time, don't be too harsh. We're now going to make a nice shell stitch edging, which means that we no longer need to use this blue yarn right here. Chuck it away. We can grab our golden yarn or whichever yarn you choose. And I'm going to show you right now how to attach that, and we're going to use a new stitch. So we're going to insert our hook right into that last single crochet, just to make sure that we're right on the corner. Then going to grab our golden yarn, and leaving a nice tail, we're just going to yarn over with that, pull it through and chain 1 to create a knot. this will attach our yarn to our project. We're going to yarn over, like with a double crochet. We're going to insert our hook into the same place that we just attached to, the same stitch. We're going to pull through. We'll have 3 loops on the hook, but we're going to pull yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops, and this is a half double crochet. We're going to do that again into the same stitch. You can see here, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops, similar to a double crochet, but we're going through all 3 instead of 2 at a time. We're going to do 5 half double crochets into this first stitch. That creates our shell. You can see here how I'm doing that. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Oh. Gonna leave this in to show that we all make mistakes. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 3 of those loops. So like I said, we're going to complete 5 total stitches into here, half double crochets that is. I need 1 more right here. Okay, now we're going to move along to continue. So we are not going to crochet into the next one along that we can see this hole here. We're actually going to crochet into this one, and we're going to perform a single crochet next. And that will start our little pattern that we're going to continue. So skip 1 again, and into the next one, I'm going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and repeat this 5 more times. So that is 5 half double crochets, skip a stitch, 1 single crochet, skip a stitch, 5 half double crochets. I keep showing this on the screen for a little bit of time so that you can kind of see how I'm doing it. I'm trying to keep this in real time as well, just to make it a little bit easier to understand. So I'm skipping that stitch and I'm going to single crochet into the next one. And I'm going to repeat this all the way along, but I will come back and show you the corners as we go. And just for reference, this right here is what we are doing. We're doing this lovely shell stitch edging, and then I'll show you how to make the loop as well on top of it. Okay, so now we're at our corner. We've done all of those stitches there, and we're going to go right into the very corner. As far as we can go, that's nicely through a stitch. And we're going to just do those 5 half double crochets. Oh, another mistake. But now at least I can fully see where I'm going into there. And that's 5 half double crochets into that corner stitch. It's not different. We're not changing the pattern at all. We're still continuing to do 5 half double crochets, skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch, 5 half double crochets. But it does change slightly here, so we're going to be going along our chains, our foundation chain stitches, so it's slightly harder to see, but it is still just as easy. So we skip this one here and we go into the next chain stitch, and we just repeat that pattern. It's really not too much fuss once you get the hang of it. I think at first it can be a little bit daunting, but at least this does teach you most of the basic stitches that you'll need to know. Keep going along that edge and I will meet you at the next corner. Let's go. Okay, so now we're at that next corner and it's very similar to how we did our first one. We skip a stitch, we're going to single crochet because we've done that corner stitch right there, and we skip a stitch and we do 5 half double crochets. Very, very simple. Still repeating that pattern I'll still show you the next corner because the stitches yet again do look slightly different, but it's just because we're going to see the top 2 stitches instead. So here we are, and our corner stitch is right here, very, very visible. And we are going to perform our shell stitch with our 5 half double crochets, so skipping that one and going into that one there, the first stitch of that round, and doing our 5 half double crochets. Nice and simple. I think I've repeated that quite a few times. Okay, so we skip this stitch and we single crochet into the next one. These ones are a lot more visible, so a nice finish to the project. And here we are at the very, very end. We need to do our final single crochet, which is into that middle stitch that we can see right there. And then we are going to slip stitch. Oh, I guess we're doing 4 stitches actually. Insert our hook through the top stitches of our first one, yarn over, pull through, and pull through, and chain 1. So now we're going to fasten that edge off. You can continue the loop from here, I just didn't for some reason here, and finish that edge off like we did before. Sorry. Okay, so now turn your work, and we're going to tuck in all these pesky edges. So we're going to grab our large darning needle, which is just a needle with a bigger eye. I'm using purple because I'm obsessed with that colour. We're going to thread it through. It also has a really nice little bend to the end of it that really helps you get in through the stitches. It's better for plushy yarn this size, but we roll. Insert through some of those blue stitches that match that yarn, and we're just going to go through a couple of loops at a time and pull through that yarn, and that just hides those edges in so that we can leave a little bit so that if there's any tension later on when we're actually using the washcloth, it won't break. It's just finishing everything off. So I'm going to go through just a couple more. I'm looking through my camera. This is a new experience for me, so trying my best here for you. And pull it through. Okay, once we are satisfied and have gone through enough stitches, there's not really a general rule about this, just enough. Couple. As you can see, we're then going to grab our scissors, then we can trim it right there. There'll be a little end there, but once we pull our work like so, it will just hide inside. No one will see that. We're then going to continue it with the gold. Make sure to hide your edges with the same colour, so gold through gold stitches. I will show that in a second. And yeah, just right here. So I'm just going through all of those loops that we can see from those half double crochets, and it really hides quite nicely on this shell stitch too. Through some more of the loops and through another part of those 5 half double crochets should be enough to hide that edging right there. And then we can just trim those ends, and we have pretty much finished our work. Just pulling it through on the imagery there and giving it a trim. So repeat this on all of your edges, including that one there, any of those loose threads, and here we are. We're now going to do our little loop. Like I said, you can continue it, but to attach it, we're going to insert again, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through. It's a slip stitch basically, but it's basically a chain stitch as well. Now we're going to chain 15 total chains, and that doesn't include the one that we use to attach it with, because that one will become a knot once we pull it at the very end. So 15 total chains. And I attached it at the first stitch of that shell stitch as well. And then once we have our 15 chains, I speak faster than I crochet, clearly. We will then go into that last 5 half double crochet stitch, that last shell stitch right there, and do a slip stitch. Then chain 1, cut the yarn leaving enough to tuck in, and fasten off by pulling it through. My scissors are not sharp enough for this. Pull through, tighten, and then hide those ends again with that darning needle. Just like so. Hide them in. And we have completed! Look how beautiful this is. Look how neat this is. I'd love to see what yours looks like if you have followed along. Here it is compared to our original purple one. These are really beautiful colours, Hobbycraft. 10 out of 10. You can see the pattern forms like a really nice checker kind of thing. It's really pretty and they hang up really nicely in the shower. You can wash them in the washing machine if you have a voile bag, or hand wash them. Thank you. Bye.